grab a paper, pen, something to write with. And because as always, this is going to be an interactive session. And just as we wait for people to come on, I want you to grab those things. And today we are talking about joy because, this is the time of year that everybody starts to talk about joy. And so, oh, hey, John, welcome in. We are just getting started talking about joy today because this is the time of year everybody talks about joy. So glad to have you. John is another one of our hosts on Mindful Monday. And just letting people come on in, grab a paper, grab pencil. And, as the world talks about joy and as there's lots of people who are joyful, but sometimes joy can be elusive, right? Sometimes it can be tricky to get to. And so today we're going to explore just how you get to joy and how sometimes it's harder than other times, but how you never have to wait for joy. That it's not something that's a secret or elusive. When you're ready for it, it can be right there. So, to start today, we are going to talk about vibrations and frequencies. So, emotions are a frequency, they're a vibration and energy. And some are a high frequency, others are a low frequency. And the high frequency feelings, you imagine all the people talking about being high vibe, right? The high vibrations, those are generally the emotions that we like to feel. And then there's the lower vibration emotions, and those are typically the ones that we don't choose to feel. And what I want to encourage you to do today is whatever you're feeling, feel it. That's actually the first step, is to notice and become aware of what you are feeling so that then you might be able to change it. So, what I wanted to do today was just start by getting you in touch with your body. So, I've got a poll for you. Okay. So, and the question is, when you feel frightened or worried or anxious, what do you feel in your body? So when you've got those kinds of emotions going, these would typically be lower vibration. What do you notice? Do you notice a tightness in your chest, a tenseness in your belly or in your back? Is it hard to breathe? All of the above? Yeah, that's what it is for me. It's all of the above. I notice that it gets really hard to fill my chest and my belly with breath. It just becomes really shallow. So awesome. What I want to do now that we've noticed that maybe our chests or our bellies or our backs are tight is I want you to just take a breath with me. Somehow I'm trying to get rid of the pull. There we go. I want you to just take a big breath. Find your inhale. Find your exhale. Just get here today. See if you can bring that inhale into your chest, if you can open up any of that tightness. And the same thing with your belly, or maybe breathe. Imagine that you could breathe into your back and fill the whole back side of your body with your breath. One of the beautiful things about our breath is that it's always with us. You don't have to stop what you're doing to find your breath. You can just find it. And it always helps bring you back into your body and notice what's going on. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I want to talk about this emotional scale. So what I want you to notice about this first is that this is actually one long line. So it starts down here. I couldn't fit it all in one line and a long line and let you read the words, but it starts down here and you move up and then up over here. So hopefully you can follow that, or you can move down from here and then over to here. And so what would be right in the middle of this scale is boredom, is number 8 over here. And number 7 over here is contentment. So those are kind of right in the middle from where you go to the high frequency vibrations or where you go to the lower frequency emotions. And what I want you to notice about that is that boredom and contentment are often the line in between. And so when we're in these lower vibrations, we might start at boredom and then move into some of the heavier emotions, overwhelm, disappointment, anger, revenge, until we're kind of at the bottom in fear and depression and powerlessness and really feeling like the victim. And so on this side of the scale, what we really seek is instant gratification, right? We just want out of that feeling. And so a lot of times, instead of taking the time to do an authentic self-care ritual or something else, we look for that instant gratification. This is where we can also experience more illness, and it's these emotions feel heavy, right? That's that lower vibration, is it just feels heavier to you in the body. And then we can also move up the scale from boredom into contentment, into hopefulness and optimism and enthusiasm and passion, and all the way up here into joy and freedom and love and appreciation. And so, this is why sometimes, if you're really in a low spot, if you're in fear or depression, it might be hard to get all the way to joy. But maybe you could get to boredom, right? Maybe you can get to contentment and then you can move up from there. So that's why sometimes joy can feel like completely out of reach. I know I've had moments in my life when joy just seemed like it was very far away. And what I want you to know is, from boredom or contentment, from the middle of this scale, what moves us downward in the spiral is drama. So anytime we compromise our values, we're creating drama. And so maybe for you, that looks like doing too much or not taking care of yourself, being in unhealthy relationships or relationships that don't support your values, giving more than you're receiving. There's all kinds of ways that we can create drama in our lives. And that's what moves us down the scale. Now, what moves us up the scale is what we're doing over here is we're creating space and inspiration. So like the other side is where we have more illness and where we have more desperation. On this side, we're looking at more health, more wealth. This is where people really start to talk about abundance in their lives and expansion. And the way that we move up this scale is through creation. So thinking about what makes your heart sing. What can you do to create something that's just for you in your life? Now, what's really important about this side is that this is where we're in rest and repose. So how we move into rest and repose is by taking those breaths, maybe by creating a mindfulness habit or a meditation technique in your day, right? There are ways that you can access rest and repose. And that's how we move up this scale. So the drama creates fight or flight. And that's why I asked you, like, I want you to notice in your body where you feel tense, right? Where do you feel fear? Where do you feel those those lower vibrations, because your physical body can be a cue for you that you are in fight or flight, and that you can then access rest and repose through some self-care ideas, right? By just taking a pause, taking a break, and that helps you move up the scale. So, oh, let me see what's sorry, I'm just opening the chat because I totally forgot with my with my screen sharing. But anyway, yes, we want to climb the ladder is what's in the chat. And I'm going to stop sharing here for a moment because I want you to get out your journals and I want you to think about how moving up this scale. And I'm going to post some questions in the chat here. And so I really want you to check in on your self-care. What energizes you? These are the questions. I want you to put them in your journal or on your piece of paper and start brainstorming. What energizes you? What creates that idea of excitement in your life? What's pleasurable to you? What makes you laugh? What makes you lighten up? Number 4 is what was your favorite forms of play as a child? What did you love to do when you were a kid? And how can you tap back into that? And then the next question is to list the 3 relationships where you feel least masterful. These might be creating some drama in your life. You might want to take a look at them. And then list the 3 relationships where you feel the most masterful. These are likely the relationships that are lifting you up. And who you surround yourself with matters because you will match in those vibrations. So if you have more people around you who are often playing in that upper zone, it will be easier for you to also access that upper zone. If you've got a lot of people around you in that lower end, then it's easier to match them there. And so it takes a lot of energy to be the one who's always pulling them up. So just something for you to consider. I'm going to be quiet for a moment while you take a look at these questions. What energizes you? What's pleasurable? What makes you laugh? What makes your heart sing? What were your favorite forms of play as a child? Just jot down a few ideas here. And then some of the relationships that feel uplifting and some of the relationships that feel like a drag. Yes. We We're getting some great things in the chat. It oddly makes sense why I love building Legos with my daughter. Yeah, that's part of why having kids is so much fun. The pretend play and what you get to build and create. Creation is such a powerful force to move you up. And the more that I can encourage you to create without having a reason to it, right? Just play is really is really powerful to moving up this scale. I'm putting another link in the chat. I want you to all check it out later. It's this person that I follow. His name is Steve Washington, and he does a 2-minute laughing meditation. And it's 2 minutes and it will completely change your vibration because all you do for 2 minutes is laugh with him for no reason at all. So I want you to check that out because what's fascinating is when you start laughing, you start to move some of that heaviness and then you don't have to hold that heaviness any longer.
That's kind of money selling yoga mat.
Oh. So, all right, any other ideas of what you came up with in the chat? Anything else that's striking you as something that would be fun for you to do? I'll tell you my story. When I started thinking about my childhood and the family that I grew up in, when what I really love to do, I realized that I love to sing, but I haven't done it like since I was in high school. And so I started, because my family now aren't real singers, so there's not a lot of opportunity to sing, but I started singing. And so you can see where I'm not going to make a career out of singing, right? I'm not going to sing for anybody else. I am just going to sing because it makes me feel incredible. So we've got some other things in the chat. Yeah, Denise says she loves to sing too, but she's bad at it. Yeah, I get it, right? That's part of the trick. As long as you don't care, then that's perfect. Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine, right? There's lots of it might be a little too weird to do it yourself. You might have to wait for grandkids. Oh, there you go. You can get your granddaughter to like it. Absolutely. So, and that's where I think grandkids are one of those beautiful works of life, right? Because you're no longer like responsible in the same way it was for your kids. So that's what I would caution you here is when you're looking for these things that energize you, I want you to look for energies that feel like obligation, right? So if you really can sit down and play with your kids, that's energizing. If you are really worried about something else and it's an obligation and a chore, then that's what it's going to be. It's not going to lift you into those other vibrations. And sometimes it's like that. Like kids are 24/7. So sometimes everybody needs a break from their kids, and sometimes it's fun. But we're going to do a meditation next to just move into joy and talk about how, because yes, there are these levels and there is this emotional scale and drama is a part of our lives, but also you can just access joy. That's also possible. So that's what we're going to do next. I am going to put some information in the chat though. This emotional scale is part of a course that I'm teaching in January. So it's called the Brain Game and it's 10 weeks. And I forgot the link, so let me grab that. It's 10 weeks long and it gives all kinds of practical tools like this for how you move from these states to one another, how you notice your emotions. And it's really wonderful. So if you want to learn more, um, check it out with me. And okay, so let's move to the meditation because this is going to give you an example of how you could do it. And if you're really feeling in those lower vibrations, I welcome you to come back to this video and to the meditation. So when you're ready, I want you to close your eyes. I want to put down your paper and pen if you're still brainstorming all the different ways that you could take care of yourself to find some more joy in your life. And I want you to start by just imagining a balloon in front of you. And you are going to let everything that's pressing on you into this balloon. Maybe it's your to-do list, maybe it's someone you forgot to call, whatever it is. Let all those things that are waiting for you go into the balloon. You're just going to give yourself a little break to be right here. And then you're going to imagine that balloon going somewhere far away. I'm in Colorado, so I always pick Mount Evans, which is one of our big peaks here. You could pick the top of the building that you're in or some other mountain that you like. But just notice the space it creates when you come back to your awareness in your body. And find your breath. So once again, find your inhale and find your exhale. Just noticing all of the different aspects of your breath. Give all of your attention to it. What does it feel like as the air comes in your nostrils? What does it feel like when it leaves your body? What does it sound like? Belly breath into your belly. Just noticing how your body is starting to relax. This is the kind of feeling that you are looking for in rest and repose. Now I want you to imagine bringing your attention to the center of your head. And pretend that there's a screen, maybe on the inside of your forehead that you can see. And if that feels close, imagine it on the outside of your head. And I want you to put the number 5 on this screen. And I want you to notice anything you notice about the number 5. What do you associate with the number 5? What does it make you think of? Is there anything that you feel? For me, what pops in is my mom had 5 siblings. That's what I think of when I think of the number 5. What is it for you? Just noticing what you associate with the number 5. And then I want you to imagine that that 5 is gone and you've got a blank screen again. Creating that blank space. Now put the number 1 on the screen. Same idea. What do you associate with the number 1? What do you feel? What do you notice about the number 1? You might notice that it's different from the number 5. Now imagine erasing that number 1. You have a blank screen again. Now remember a time that you were feeling sad. Just remember what it felt like or what it feels like. Notice that you can be with sadness. You're okay. It's safe to feel. Just noticing what you notice about sad. And then create that blank space. Just like we did between the numbers. And now let yourself feel joy. Change the feeling to joy. Remember a time you felt joy. And let yourself be there. What does it feel like in your body? Joy. It's like a whole body tingle for me. What does it feel like for you? And now I want you to imagine that somewhere up in the universe, a spigot of joy gets turned on, and all of this joy just starts to pour on the top of your head for no reason other than it's available. And just allow yourself to soak up joy. Let it fill all of your cells, coming into the top of your head and into your shoulders and down to your fingertips, into your chest, filling your heart, down into your hips, your torso, all the way to your toes. Now I want you to do one more step. Imagine that there is a rose in front of you, and that rose is also going to be filled with joy. And I want you to just imagine sending that rose off to someone as an invitation to joy, because joy is contagious. And then consider setting an intention to spot joy in your day today. What we focus on matters. So consider setting an intention to look for joy in your day today. Be a joy spotter, because it's out there. We just often miss it. And when you notice it, then you can notice that vibration within you as well. Find one more breath deep in your body in this experience. Enjoy. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and stretch your body. Fantastic. Okay, so I wanted to talk just briefly about that exercise because we have a few minutes. What I wanted you to notice is that I was very intentional about, we did the number 5 and then we did a blank screen, we did the number 1. We did sadness and then a blank screen and then joy. What I want you to notice about that is that you can change what it is you're focusing on. You can change what it is that you're experiencing. What's important about it is that when you do this by yourself, I want you to notice what you're feeling. Like I gave you sadness today, but instead you could say, what am I feeling? And whatever it is that you're feeling, just sit with that for a moment. And then after you've sat with it, after you've acknowledged it and said, this is what I am actually feeling, you can change it. So, and sadness and joy are actually very similar in frequencies. They're like opposites. So it's very easy to switch from joy to sadness. The same is true with mad and power. So if you find yourself feeling mad, one of the things that it's easy to switch it to is power. And then the other big one is fear. And what that's easy to switch to is peace. So chances are you might be feeling variations of fear, mad, or sad, right? You might get more specific in naming them. But what I want you to remember is that sad easily moves to joy, that mad moves to power, and that fear moves to peace. And so those are just easy ways to help you change where your focus is. And then you can invite more of that other vibration that you want to experience into your life. So I am going to put my information in the chat so that you can find me online. My business is called A Light Insight. And I do all kinds of individual sessions to help people move forward in their lives. And I'm teaching this brand new course in January that I'm really excited about. So I hope you'll join me for that. And what I want to make sure I mention before we run out of time is that Mindful Monday will not be here next week because we're in between the holidays and we're thinking people are probably taking off. So, but we'll be back in January, and our focus for January, theme for January is going to be peace. And so if that sounds like something you could use more of, or you'd like to contemplate or figure out how peace works in your life, we want you to join us, and we want you to bring a friend. We want you to bring more people to Fuel and to Mindful Mondays. So I hope to see you back next time. I hope you can access some of those higher vibrations by really figuring out what fills you up and makes your heart sing. Know that I'm extremely grateful for all of you who choose to meditate and become mindful and to be a part of the Fuel community. So thank you so much. Happy holidays. Have a wonderful new year. And the solstice is here. So the light is changing.